come to sound the trumpet.
No need to worry. We're going to be brave.
Marked as a battleground.
The People's National Party is confident about the increased levels of investment opportunities made both locally and internationally. Today on Montego Bay's Election Watch, we have the State Minister in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Minister Ffolkes Abraham. She's also the Member of Parliament for West Central St. James, which she will contest with the JLP's candidate, Miss Marlene Malahoo Fort. Welcome, Minister, to Election Watch.
Thank you, Aubrey.
All right, so before we begin, for those who are undecided and are unsure of West Central St. James, just let our audience and our viewers know what are some of the areas located in West Central St. James and some of the areas that you serve as Member of Parliament.
Okay. Well, we have 3 divisions in West Central St. James: the Mount Salem Division, the Granville Division, and the Spring Garden Division. And there are a number of communities in all 3 divisions. I would say I have a mixture of both urban and rural, Mount Salem being mostly urban, the retirement area in Granville being the rural part and gutters, and the other part of Granville would be more urban. And for Spring Garden, residential, beautiful, and parts of Spring Garden also being rural.
Okay.
So I have a mixture of all.
That's great.
Town and country.
That's nice. So, recently we're on the road doing some Vox Pop, and, patrons on the streets reminded us of the great work that you have been doing in the constituency. So can you just tell us a little bit about the work that you have been doing over the years as Member of Parliament for West Central?
Thank you very much. It is my privilege and honor to have served the people of West Central St. James and to have given them, I believe, my best over the last 4 years. What I tried to do with the limited amount of funds that were available is to make sure that the people actually benefit. I had a focus particularly on youth development, because I believe that if we take care of the youth, then they will take care of the country. And a lot of the issues, for instance, in crime or other issues, have to do with young people not having enough opportunity and not having enough training. And so I feel that it is important that we as politicians look at the community development and look at how we can assist families and assist young persons. And so one of the major achievements that I brought to West Central St. James is the Caribbean Maritime Institute, which I gathered my funds for about 3 years, saved up for about $3 million, and started by sending 50 young persons, all expenses paid, to the Caribbean Maritime Institute. And why I chose that particular method or route is because we are looking to the future. We are looking for new opportunities for young people. We're looking at where this country is going. And therefore, we have to equip the youth with the ability to earn a living in a new economy. So we have to be visionary, futuristic, and we have to think about how best to suit the future, not just the present. Mm-hmm. And in fact, things have changed. Technology is here. You have a computer, I have an iPad, and we are looking in the television camera. And so therefore, going forward, there's going to be more technology. Mm-hmm. I believe that Montego Bay and West Central St. James in particular should become a knowledge economy. And so for the young people, what I have done with the Caribbean Maritime Institute is look at logistics and the future of logistics on the island and prepare the young people of Jamaica and Montego Bay, and in particular my own constituents, for the coming jobs in the hub. The other thing The University of the West Indies is going to be building right in the constituency. The new campus will be in the Granville area. And new housing is taking place right now. The Gore developments are building new houses in that area. So pretty soon, Granville itself will become a city. So we're looking at transformation, not looking at the way things are and just, patching here and there, but we're looking at transforming the entire city, the economy, and the future for the young people.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So let us just zone in a little bit more on your response to crime, because you know that Montego Bay has been plagued with,
Yes.
a lot of murders, especially since the start of 2016.
Unfortunately.
What is your response as Member of Parliament and as the people's hope for West Central St. James to crime?
Well, I thank you for asking me that question, because that is one of the things that concerns me most. So I look at the situation from the point of view of who is committing the crime and what kind of crimes are happening. And I think it's coming out of the frustration of the younger people in not having a hope. The motto that I brought first was hope and a future. And that was the motto that I brought to my first campaign. And that comes from Jeremiah, which says, I have given you a hope and a future. So God has a plan for everyone. And I think the frustration comes out of not understanding that the person, each of us is valuable, and each of us has a purpose in life. And that murder, mayhem, and those things actually abort our purpose. So Jamaica is filled with talent. Montego Bay, you go into any school, go into any forum, children just pick up a drumstick, a guitar, piano, can sing, can recite. The talent is there. But perhaps the frustration is also there at not having an avenue in which to develop their talents and to make an honest living. Now, some persons, instead of, going the right way, have short-circuited the route. And therefore, because they short-circuited the route, they find themselves in the wrong area. They need guidance. They need somebody to mentor them and also to give them a vision of who they are and what they can become. And so that is what I have sought to do in many ways, not only at the Caribbean Maritime Institute, but I've also developed over 100 new entrepreneurs through JBDC, which is part of my ministry, Jamaica Business Development Corporation, train them how to do a business, how to get a plan, a business plan, how to manage their business, and also give them a small stipend to help them start the business. Not in terms of cash, but for instance, if you wanted to be a beautician, I would give you a small stipend at a beauty supply shop where you could get your products and actually start your business or improve your business or help your business.
Okay.
And I've done that for over 100 persons, both young and not so young.
Okay. All right. Before we go to our first break, let's speak a little bit about your performance in the last general election. You defeated Clive Mullins by about 673 votes. Do you think that you'll be victorious this year, knowing that the Jamaica Labour Party has moved a candidate from Westmoreland, Central Westmoreland, to compete against you in this year's election? What are your thoughts about the outcome of this year's election?
Well, confidently I can say that I believe that it's already won. Because persons have already made up their minds. There might be the few undecided, but there is a clear indication that I will be the victor, the winner, the person who comes out with the mandate to continue the work that have already started.
You share with us the things that you have done over the past 4 years as a Member of Parliament for the area. Now I wanted to share with our viewers, what are some of the plans that you will do if you're re-elected as Member of Parliament for the area?
Okay, thank you once again, Aubrey. I shared a portion of what I have done. It would take a much longer time for me to share with you all that I have done. But nevertheless, let me say that going forward, one of the things that I feel very strongly about is infrastructure. And I have used what funds were available to rehabilitate some roads. Others need rehabilitation. I've not been able to get to them. But what I would like to do is to repair every road in my constituency. That is my goal. I don't know if I'll reach it in the next 4 years, but I certainly will continue the work that I have started. For instance, the Bow Hill Road had not been fixed for over 17 years and was just worse than a donkey track. And now it's like a highway. I spent a lot of money, 30 million, because we also had to improve the drainage. And I think a lot of these roads are built without proper drainage. I don't know from what era or why not, or maybe perhaps the money wasn't there to put in the drainage. But it's very important with the rainfall that we have, particularly in my constituency. In that area, there is quite a bit of rainfall at some times of the year, at certain times of the year, and therefore it makes maintaining the roads difficult. But if we have proper drainage, that will improve.
Okay, so your focus will definitely be on infrastructure development with roads. What about housing?
Housing, I was coming to that next.
Okay.
As I said, there is low-income housing coming by Gore in the Granville area, but we need even more affordable housing. Retirement area is one area in which I believe we could do some building. It's important for titling. May I also say land titles is another one of my great passions. And I'm working with the Comfort Lands area in Mount Salem to get them over 100 titles. And Geolands has been there a number of times, and we have started the process, and I've also worked for my constituency development fund to help pay for some of the work that needs to be done in order to get titles. So housing is critical.
Excellent.
I've also worked on some food for the poor housing that we expect to be rolled out in the next few months.
All right. So many have questioned your function as state minister, but I want you to tell our viewers, what are some of the successes in which you have encountered as minister of industry and commerce? Right? Tell us about the results of you becoming a state minister.
Okay, this is a very important ministry, Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, because it is one of the growth engines of the economy. But of course, the role of the ministry is to set the platform so that investments, direct foreign investments and local investments, come into the country and help to develop the country further. I believe that we have been very successful at that, considering that JAMPRO, which is part of the ministry, and a lot of persons don't associate both, but JAMPRO is an agency that is part of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, and that's the investment arm of the ministry. And that arm has brought in well over $19 billion into the country of investments. So we're looking at the hotels across the island. That's JAMPRO, that's working along with the Ministry of Tourism to bring those investments. Hospiten, for instance, right here in Montego Bay, is another example. And another hospital is also going up in West Central St. James. When we think about the BPO, business process outsourcing industry, that is also part of our ministry, which is the free zone area. By the way, the free zone won number one free zone in the world last year. That's part of our ministry too. And we have, when we came in, it was about 14,000 jobs. We're well over 17,000 jobs and heading to over 24,000 jobs in that area for new investment, new space in the area, the development of new centers. Vista Print was opened, one of the first institutions that were opened when we became government. We've also brought investment in terms of car assembly in the Spanish Town area. So this will definitely be a big thing for Jamaica. Not to mention the liquid natural gas that has been brought to the Bogue plant, which is well in excess of millions of dollars of investment here on the island. And that also is going to bring a logistics hub in Montego Bay and the build out and dredging of the Montego Bay Harbor to accommodate the ships that will carry the liquid natural gas not only in the Caribbean but further afield.
Okay, there's a view that the government only cares about international investors and not local investors. What are some of the successes of local investments in Jamaica?
There have been a number of local investments, and when I say over 19 million, it's not just foreign investments that I'm talking about. It includes local investments. And I think it's a wrong concept to say that we do not care about local investments. I believe local investments are critical. I also want to see more investments coming from the diaspora, because I think that Jamaica has the potential with its diaspora alone to build out the entire Jamaica. And so I believe that this is critical for us to grow. JAMPRO also caters to investors within Jamaica itself.
All right, I want to ask you something. Have you ever heard anyone say, boy, the government and love get the Chinese them tax break, but no tax break to our locals? Have you ever heard that before? Have you heard that statement before?
Well, I don't know if I've heard that statement. I think I have heard the sentiment. Yes, and I think they mean in terms of like building the highway.
Do you think that Jamaicans get tax break if they want to open a supermarket just like a Chinese, or they want to open a business? Do you think do Jamaicans get tax break though, or?
But I'm not aware of the Chinese or supermarket getting any more tax break than the Jamaican supermarket. I'm not aware of that.
There is the 5-year tax break when a Chinese company comes to Jamaica and get a tax break of 5 years, and then they close down and then reopens another one. So you're not certain about that one?
No, I'm not certain about that at all.
All right, no problem.
I'm not certain about that.
All right, so we're gonna go to one of our controversial
Not aware
questions.
of that.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
what we're gonna ask. And this question states, what are your thoughts about political parties moving candidates from one parish to the next? For instance, moving a candidate from St. Elizabeth coming to Montego Bay to represent a particular amount of people. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, a rolling stone gathers no moss. And that's my thought on that. I think that if you are sincere about serving the people in a particular area, that you will settle there and help the people. Even if you lose, you can still work with the persons. And if you seek to then represent them in the future, I think that that's a good background. But to be flying from one spot to the next and then just trying to get a seat without any roots at all within a certain area or jurisdiction, I think it's too opportunistic to be sincere.
Okay, so in about 1 minute, I want you to tell our viewers why they should vote for you for West Central St. James.
Thank you very much. I would like to, first of all, thank the viewers who voted for me in the last general elections. I believe that it's a privilege to serve. It's an honor to be a representative in Parliament. And I feel that I have done a job that was difficult to do, but nevertheless, I gave my all to the job. And I believe that out of that, I have had many successes. I know that perhaps some of you might say, we didn't see you enough, but it's not because I wasn't in the area. It is because I was working elsewhere in the government for the betterment of Jamaica. Jamaica was in a very bad state when the government, our government, took it over. And we have brought that state of affairs to now being among the top 10 most improved economies in the world. And that took a lot of work. And so, therefore, I have made sure that all of my duties have been met within the constituency. Roads, I have fixed many. There are still more to be fixed. I am up to the task. I have looked at the young people and I have served the young people. In terms of crime, I have worked with the churches, with the police, with the various institutions in the society to bring crime down, particularly in the Granville division, from 64 murders when I entered to only 5. And I believe in the power of prayer. I do believe that God is sovereign and that God will see Jamaica through. I am an honest person who has sought to represent you in the best way that anyone could ever. I would like to continue the job to make West Central St. James a model community in Jamaica. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Minister Ffolkes Abraham. There you have it, the Member of Parliament and candidate for West Central St. James, Minister Ffolkes Abraham. I want to thank you also, our viewers, for joining us today on Election Watch. I am your host, Aubrey Stewart, and I will see you next time. Take care.